The You're Gonna Love This or Not podcast contains harsh language and may not be suitable for younger listeners.
Why would you answer this call? Why would you answer this call? Why?
No, I don't want to extend my car's warranty. No, hey man, it's me! Fuck. I learned how to fake my caller ID just like those guys. Oh, but seriously, we can talk about your car warranty later. I don't need a new car warranty, I'm good. Sure you do. Anyhow, you coming to movie night this month? I don't know, man. Movie night's these last couple movies have been kind of brutal. Oh, well, this one's great. Do you like the band Kiss? Not especially. Okay, how about Full House? It was okay when I was a kid. Nightmare on Elm Street? Another Robert Englund movie? Really? That's how you're going to try to sell me Robert Englund? Hey, that's worked. I do what I can, man. Do you like Prince? Yeah, I like Prince. Well, that's great, because one of his girlfriends is in this movie. You're going to love it, man. I guarantee it. And you know what? Special added bonus? Al's going to be on this week. Well, if Al's going to be there, I mean, that's like double trouble for you, because we'll team up against you. Oh, I got to tell you, Al hates this movie. You're going to love it. Well, that's even better for me. All right. Well, I'll see you there? Yeah, I'll be there.
It's the third year of You're Gonna Love This or Not, and Matt hasn't ran out of movies to show the people he calls his friends. This month, they're once again joined by producer Mike, along with special guest Alan Sims, to watch the 1986 spy film Never Too Young to Die. This John Stamos film is about a high school gymnast who teams up with his father's partner to stop the psychopathic hermaphroditic gang leader who killed him. What will the crew think? Is Al regretting buying podcast equipment? Let's listen to the trailer and then find out.
The new American hero. Go! John Stamos is Stargrove. Vanity is Danja. Simmons is Ragnar. Yeah! Never Too Young to Die. Rated R.
Matt, you son of a bitch.
Oh, come on, man. That movie is super fun.
It was okay, I guess.
It was okay, I guess.
It was extremely okay.
Well, yeah, and the voice you just heard, of course, is my friend Alan, a.k.a. Luke Hangover.
Yo.
From real life. And he also hates this movie. And also on the podcast this week, as is usual lately, Mike from the Comic Carnival podcast and Real Life.
Wait, was I going to be able to get out of this one?
No, never.
You totally could have. You should have got
out of it.
I keep fucking up, man. I keep telling you, just say no.
Balls.
He can't say no. His name's on the website.
That's kind of true.
Therefore, you're trapped.
All right. Well, this week's movie, of course. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate this movie.
Yeah.
What is it? Never Too Young to Die is the name of it?
Never Too Young to Die. That's right. You know it because Gene Simmons says it.
Yeah, he does say it at the very
in
the end. That's
right.
the whole like Peter Griffin thing. They said the name of the show. So, yeah. I mean, I didn't hate it. I mean, it's not good. But it's not
this movie by far is not good.
No, it is
so terrible that I hate my life for trying to watch it. I mean, it's okay.
No, this movie is problematic in many ways and has many flaws.
It's a cheesy 80s B action film. I mean, it's exactly what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's fun to watch. It was bad enough not to get a real theatrical release. Ended up playing a bunch of drive-ins, I think.
I mean, John Stamos is in it, so I mean that's good.
I do vividly remember the cassette for this at video rental places.
Really? They brought out the soundtrack, huh?
Well, no, like the VHS. I remember seeing this at, Matt will know what Taters was.
Taters,
I remember seeing the video cassette cover for this with Vanity and John Stamos on it a lot.
Wow, I had never seen this. It must have
Yeah,
Must have been a little before my time.
A little, maybe. I am very old.
Was this pre or post Purple Rain?
This is 86.
This
Purple Rain is 85 or 6, so it's right about the same time.
Purple Rain is between 86 to 88 because that's when I worked at the movie theater and we played Purple Rain for like 4 weeks. And so I do remember that.
Just checking.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a movie that was going to launch John Stamos's movie career.
I mean, it launched something.
Yes.
Yeah, it launched a little fiery pellet that went about 5 feet and burned out.
And then shot like a Roman candle ball that kind of went all over the place.
That's right. Exploding people.
That's right.
The homicidal maniacs who wielded it.
Yeah, like it looked like that flamethrower that what's his name created? Elon Musk, kind of.
Oh,
you
yeah?
mean not called Lex Luthor?
That's right.
Yeah, right.
No, that's Jeff Bezos. That's bald Lex Luthor.
That's a true story.
All right. Well, this movie, of course, not beloved by the critics, does not have a critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Does have a 50% audience score.
I could see that. See, this is one of those movies that like I can see people actually liking because it's.
Oh yeah,
it is. Actually, this is one of those movies that actually was fun to watch, even though it was a bad movie.
Well, yeah, these are the movies that I love. The ones that are just fun to watch with a bunch of other people.
50% sounds about right.
Well, I was going to say these are usually higher than critics for these kind of movies because the people who watch this movie are the kind of people that will enjoy this movie.
I do want to say this at the top. It is true that I have seen this movie before and I did absolutely hate it. But I did enjoy it a little bit more this viewing.
Yeah, it's definitely more fun to watch with people. Like this is a movie that like I could get a couple of friends together, watch it, we can make fun of it. It would be because it's enjoyable enough to watch because although the acting is not great and the dialogue is not great and the special effects are terrible and the plot line's kind of hashed out and we've seen it 100 times and
maybe from Batman villains.
Yeah, I mean, but this whole plot line, some terrorist trying to poison water supplies or whatever else. I mean, it's the same villain, cartoony-ish villain trying to kill a bunch of people. I mean, it's I don't know. I feel like it's been done a lot.
It's done to death. Yeah, and IMDb 4.9 out of 10.
Yeah,
it's definitely right on the middle.
I mean, no understanding of how actual electronics work or computers work or anything else like that. I mean, there's no.
Yeah, not even back then. Like,
I mean,
they didn't even call it like a floppy disk, or it's a disk. It's a magnetic disk. It's like when it's clearly a floppy.
And wouldn't we have had hard disks at that point, or we still would have had the floppier disks?
3.5 inches would have been around. They wouldn't have been common.
Yeah,
but yeah, most computers back then would have been using the 5 1/4 floppies.
Yeah,
could have been a jazz drive.
So,
maybe a tape backup.
Yeah,
maybe.
those weren't around for like another 5 years. Nobody had enough data they needed to.
Someone posted the other day about the CD tape backup thing the other day, and I was kind of cracking up. I forgot about it.
Yeah, you just need a TRS-80 and you're good to go.
Yeah,
or a word processor, which the laptop in the end seemed to be.
Yeah, right. A word processor like shoved into a metal
the predecessor of a laptop.
Right.
I mean, it looked laptop-y. I mean, it wasn't like...
it was a laptop. It just had a little LCD readout.
With a timer on it.
Yeah.
That was totally fried in the sun in that last shot of it.
Yeah, for sure.
You could barely see the readout.
Yeah. Well, again, this movie was supposed to launch John Stamos into the stratosphere of movies. He'd been on
into the Stamosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. He done soaps for a few years and left that to make his way into the movies as a huge, handsome star with the most spectacular hair I think we've seen in any movie we've watched.
His hair was fantastic.
And the immovable hair. I mean,
it didn't move once.
Yeah, it didn't move at all. Even when he was getting his face,
he must use a lot of mousse.
I don't think he had any product in it at all. I just think that was his natural Stamos hair.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, we do not know the ways of Stamos.
Yeah, and this really put a kibosh on his movie career.
Yeah. So, although it was kind of nice, at least it was before he was in full Uncle Jesse mode, so he was a little more palatable.
His acting in this movie is full on soap opera. Like when he's one-on-one with Vanity, like he's doing the far away stares and all that kind of stuff. It's like Young.
Well,
and the
he was
Restless.
on a soap opera. I mean, that's where he
Yeah,
got his
I mean
start,
that's how
so.
he had been acting.
The one thing we did learn is that apples do not make you less horny.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you eat them and throw them
Exactly.
away.
You can try and put all the horny back in that apple that you're eating.
An apple a day does not keep the horniness away.
If anything, it exacerbates it. So
exactly. I wouldn't
go as far as say it exasperates that. I can't say that word right now. Exasperates it, but it definitely did not quench it.
Yes, I don't see how apples are will quench your thirst for Vanity, who is a very good looking woman.
Like I feel like apples are a sexy food anyways. Like they're not really like a non-sexy food.
You know, there's that whole original sin thing.
Yeah. At least he didn't try to use like bananas or something.
Oh God.
I'm gonna say this. Yeah, if John Stamos eating a banana to try to get over his
that would have made that scene a million times better.
Yes, that would have made that scene. Mwah.
That's like half a step off of like a police academy or a police squad movie right there.
Or it would have been
like a Naked Gun thing.
He goes in and gets another apple. It would have been better if he'd gone in the second time and come out with like a full-on pineapple or something. It just chowed down.
A lemon or a grapefruit.
He
peel it. Describes a kumquat.
He just keeps going in and get a bigger fruit.
He keeps coming out with the increasingly bigger fruit.
Progressively larger, yeah.
Slice. You seen a watermelon slice trying to quench his ability to whatever.
Like I said,
actually, there was the scene where the two thugs guys like shoved a cherry tomato in his mouth. So what was the whole thing with the fruit and stuff in John Stamos' mouth?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what was
maybe
going on.
Maybe he just didn't feel he was eating enough.
Maybe that. Yeah, it was like
maybe
he was younger, so he probably didn't look out for himself as much.
Maybe the tomato was a reference to his other movie from around the same time.
What movie was that?
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. He's in like the third one, wasn't it?
I thought it was Clooney that was in that one. George Clooney was in that one.
Oh, you may be right.
One.
That was off the top of my head.
I think it's Clooney.
I'm wrong. I'm sorry.
Damn it. Anyhow, apples are not going to save
Clooney,
you from Vanity's
Stamos. I mean, come on, it's all
tomato.
You know what? It's been a while since I've seen any of those movies. So.
Tomato. I like it.
I say Vanity is most known for being in the girl group Vanity 6.
Yes.
She was one of Prince's proteges / girlfriends. Also got involved with Billy Idol, Adam Ant, Nikki Sixx, which she thought was hilarious because if she married Nikki Sixx, they were engaged, she would be known as Vanity 6. So,
and that would have stuck it to Prince good.
Yeah, for sure. But after a while, she almost died from a crack overdose and became a born-again evangelist. And unfortunately, she's no longer with us.
Yes. Vanity is incredibly gorgeous. And she's not.
Yes, in this movie, she is smoking hot.
She's not bad in this movie at all.
No, she's good. I think she's good.
And actually, back to Stamos, I thought he did okay in the action parts. He didn't do bad. I mean, he
doesn't do bad. He's not.
Fine.
His acting game is not on point in this movie.
I mean, the choreography in this isn't that great. I mean, the fight scenes were. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. He did good for what he was presented with.
I truly believed he was getting the crap kicked out of him in the one scene.
There is some the scene where he gets brutalized in that sink. Holy shit! Like it would have turned his face into meatloaf, man.
Yeah,
like that is hard to watch. Even
he wouldn't come out looking that pretty afterwards.
Like there would be teeth all over the bottom of the sink and pieces of lip. Ugh, that is ridiculous.
Yes, the amount of broken dishes and blood in that sink did not correspond to the amount of damage on his face.
Yeah, and he came out of it relatively unscathed.
But it's John Stamos. You got to protect the moneymaker. Let's face it.
For sure.
So his hair?
Yes, the hair and the face.
See, that's why they shoved him face first into the sink, because if they shoved the hair into the sink, it would have just broken the sink.
That's right. Like he could have fought him off with his hair. Bullets would.
And they're grabbing him by his hair. How did his hair not attack their hand and like wrap around it or something?
I don't know, man. I
don't know.
I think it's like porcupine spines, maybe.
Yeah,
like it's just there, and if you touch it, you're sunk.
But Vanity was good. She looked great in all her scenes. She was a good femme fatale type part. I thought.
Yeah, for sure.
I do like how all of a sudden John Stamos in this movie became like a really good fighter.
Yes.
Like there was no like lead up to how he became a good fighter.
I think they're trying to say his gymnastics made him a good fighter.
Yes.
But
so kind of like the Jean-Claude Van Damme thing where he's a choreographer and then became a martial artist.
Yeah, but they're not really telling you how he became an absolute cold-blooded murdering.
Well, I think they do explain it.
Yeah, he shotguns people in the stomach like 2 days after his high school gymnastics meet.
Well, it's because
college or whatever.
He's a Stargrove, and they are genetically predisposed to be super spies and killers.
I guess.
I think that was pretty clear from the movie.
And he gets that, of course, from his dad, Drew Stargrove.
A little obvious.
Yeah. Drew Stargrove.
Yeah, so anyways, this movie, I guess it starts out with his dad going underground to steal something from Gene Simmons' character.
Yeah.
Who is hermaphrodite, apparently.
Yeah.
Which means half woman, half man in their world, which that's not really how that works out. But so then like his dad goes down to steal the stuff and then
the math
gets
doesn't really
shot
check out
by Gene Simmons and then dies. But like the entire time he tried to tell his son he was in the oil business, I guess.
Yeah. His dad was played by George Lazenby, either the best or worst James Bond, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how you look at it. And like his son, of course, like he wasn't in the oil business or whatever. That kind of comes up. And then we've got the guy that's supposed to be like the confidant and the executor of the will, who's like actually a double agent, I guess. So then the whole movie basically turns into this revenge plot with John Stamos trying to avenge his father's death and stop this terrorist because apparently when you're a spy, your son becomes your avenger. That's how that works. And
it's passed on.
Although his dad, who was much older, was hooking up with Vanity. Vanity ends up hooking up with the younger model. I guess that's what she wanted. How
old is Vanity's character supposed to be? Because
I don't know, because she's only like 4 years older than John Stamos in real life. Like they're only 4 years apart.
But character comes off as much older than John Stamos's.
Yeah,
so she should be if she's shagging his dad.
Was John Stamos 18 in this movie, or was he like what? Was he in high school?
No, he was probably in. I don't know what he was supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be a small college.
It was a college.
Yeah, because he had a roommate, in a dorm.
Yeah,
but it's a college where you're.
I guess she does say biology 101. So yeah, she does say biology 101. So that would be a college course.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, he can't be more than like 18 or 19. And if she was shagging his dad, I mean, was she much older or a little bit older?
But
like,
was she, though? I mean, they never really... She just talks about how their relationship was, he looked out for her and took care of her.
Well, she said more than a partner at some point.
Yeah, but I think you could imply that it was... like infer that it was more like a father figure type thing, or you could easily infer that she meant that they were.
Oh yeah, he was her daddy, all right.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was a Bond. He was a Bond.
They definitely hint at past experience that we are not told.
Yes,
he did something.
So, like he dies.
He did something very big for her family.
Well, she seemed very grieving widowy when he died. But yet she got over pretty quick when John Stamos entered the picture.
And her morning outfit
she's
was
just
quite
like, oh, hey, I got the new young stud over the old man.
Yeah,
so
she just craves the Stargrove.
Yes.
And, yeah, she's something.
The Stargrove, the love version of the Stargrove.
Which basically this whole movie is like a revenge plot of, like, John Stamos, like, knows his father isn't really in the oil business, but then, like, figures out what he's really into. And so then...
It's just him making his dad pay, right?
His dad. And then, of course, there's the part where he bites the hermaphrodite's boob. So, I mean, which incapacitates Gene Simmons at that point.
Yeah. Oh, God. Gene
and of course,
Simmons
we see Gene Simmons' tongue a couple times because why wouldn't we?
Oh, please no.
Well, yeah.
I don't even
want to be... And the random musical Gene Simmons number that is terrible.
Yes. It is awful.
Oh, yeah. It's not good. Like, the soundtrack of the movie was not great.
Okay, I have a couple of things to say about Gene Simmons' performance here. I have a theory. If you look at the wig he wore when he was in his Ragnar character and the clothes he wore, I really think that he was channeling some of his grief and anger over his breakup with Cher into his performance.
That does absolutely look like a Cher
wig. Because it's a straight up
Cher
Cher wig. It is a 100% a Party City
I
Cher
totally
wig.
had forgotten that Gene Simmons and Cher dated.
Oh, I could never forget. But,
because Cher still looks 30 and Gene Simmons looks 105.
But he's wearing a straight up Cher wig in a lot of those scenes.
No, he definitely is.
Do you think he's making fun of her?
Maybe.
Do you think this was a giant fuck you to her?
Or maybe he's paying homage to her.
I think Simmons seems like the kind of guy that would totally do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does not seem like a nice guy.
He seems like the kind of guy that would totally hey, Cher, watch this movie I'm in. Here's a big middle finger. And which he killed people with his middle finger, by the way.
He seems very petty.
Yes.
Like his ego got hurt because he's got a fragile masculine ego.
I met Paul Stanley once, and the whole thing was he was at a local show and he was signing. And so there was him and there was a money guy. You don't hand any of the money to the talent, you hand it to the money guy. The money guy worked directly for Gene, and then he would give him, he gave Paul his amount of money, and then the rest of the money went directly to Gene.
Yeah, that is fucked up.
And the way it worked is, if they brought just stuff for him, like his own album, then he would get the money for that. If it was a Kiss anything, then Gene got a chunk of the money.
That is crazy. And
all
this is
totally
allegedly.
believe that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, none of that shocks me about Gene Simmons at all.
But my point is that he is absolutely that petty.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Speaking of Paul Stanley, I wanted to mention this early. Anyway, I was telling Matt earlier, I follow him on Twitter, and Paul Stanley is like the most positive, nice person, at least on Twitter, that you can imagine. So I have a feeling it just seems that he seems like such a very nice person, a very good person. It seems like I don't know how him and Gene Simmons could coexist for as long as they have. Obviously, it's been a very successful business partnership for the two of them, but they just don't seem like they would have a whole lot in common personality-wise, Well,
that's like
go ahead.
That's like if you ever hear Penn and Teller talk, or if you hear Penn talk. He and Teller, they have worked together for almost 60 years, 50 years, and they aren't friends. They don't hate each other, but they aren't friends. They don't hang out. And, it's a business partnership. They are business partners.
Yeah, they're vastly different people.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really thought that Simmons was totally like maybe making a dig at Cher at a couple of spots.
No,
or at least with his appearance anyway.
That's that seems pretty valid.
Do you think that he keeps the rest of Kiss at bay with his razor sharp fingernail weapon?
Maybe.
If you mean his pen and his checkbook, then yes.
That fingernail was really strong. He must take a lot of collagen. A lot.
Or vitamin K. Just consumes vitamin K 24 hours a day.
It kind of looked like he was wearing a fake nail that was a blade.
What?
Yeah, no. I know.
What?
I know.
That was totally
some
his real
press
fingernail.
sounds.
Mind blown.
I also, and he clearly he killed people by basically flipping them the bird.
So anyways, the special effects in this movie, not good.
No.
The random firing of weapons, the amount of ammunition per gun.
Well, that's standard.
Yeah, but it's like really bad in this movie. Well, it's worse than normal.
There was one shot where they just straight up, it was obvious. They just superimposed like a explosion effect onto the end of a gun barrel, and the gun was obviously never fired. Which they do a bunch now that they can just do it with computers. But back in 1986, I don't think they did that.
I do like how in the end, the Gene Simmons died by his own hand.
That's a terrible joke.
Yeah.
Come on. That was a great joke.
Come on, people.
There are some effect shots I even wrote down, like a steel door explodes into wood planks.
Yes. Yeah. From what's basically a glorified Roman candle, let's be honest.
There's a grenade that blows up and just shoots wood straight up like it's coming out of an air cannon.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And also, there are...
That is the airbags underneath the ocean in that one movie we watched.
Oh, man, you're going to have to remind me.
The Last Shark.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The one where there was the windsurfer for the first 3.5 hours?
Yep. I remember.
Yeah,
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
That was riffed by Riff Tracks, I believe they did that one.
It was the most erotic windsurfing scene I've ever seen in my entire life.
So the only windsurfing scene you've seen in your life. Then.
Yeah, no, I've seen some other windsurfing scenes, maybe.
The script wasn't great in this one either.
No, but it's not bad. Like it's not. Like this is not as bad as a lot of the other movies we watched. Like I mean, it's just so. I mean, it's just cheesy. I mean, it's cheesy 80s, even down to like the cheesy 80s porn music they use in the sex scene between
even
John
the 80s
Stamos
doesn't excuse some of the writing in this, because there's at one point when Vanity fights off those dudes in the barn.
Yes.
One of them says to her, "Or else I'll tenderize your butt."
I mean, I kind of wanted to tenderize her butt too. Not gonna lie.
I understand that feeling, Josh, but you don't let the inside voice talk outside.
Yes, I do. Have you not met me?
I know. For you.
No, it was a suggestion. Don't let the inside voice talk outside.
There was a couple of times when it seems like they had these big ideas for a big action set piece, and then they just weren't able to carry out.
Yeah, there was just no money.
Through. Either no money or no skill. They weren't able to carry it through, but they definitely had some ideas for them.
Yeah.
There's probably a little bit of both, but
well, I'd say also probably one of the reasons the effects are so bad is Gil Bettman, the director of this. This is his only feature that I saw in his credits, but most of his stuff was directing TV, like Knight Rider and the A-Team and MacGyver and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that totally explains the Corvette
shots. The A-Team were always 100% the best special effects ever.
Well, you have a bunch of guys getting catapulted in front of an air cannon.
Right.
Yeah, you get those same grenade hits out of the air cannon.
Yeah, the action in this is out of an...
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say the action in this is definitely right out of a 80s action.
Oh, yeah.
Show, TV show.
Yeah, a lot of falling dummies.
Right.
Yeah, it was like a really long episode of a TV show.
Yeah, it was directed that way. And again, he didn't direct another feature.
Only you did get to see Vanity's partially nude body.
All right.
That's
which would not have been on TV.
No.
Unless it's HBO or Skinamax.
Do they even do that anymore?
Anyway.
I don't even know.
Does any cable exist anymore?
But I forgot what I was going to say. Something I did realize a moment ago, though, is that I've been doing it all night, where I was thinking she was the one in Purple Rain, and she was not.
No, she was out before.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but she was in Barry Gordy's Last Dragon.
Yes.
Okay.
Great movie, and yes, she is definitely in that. She's also in Action Jackson, isn't she?
I don't know. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Yeah, I thought so.
I wish she had done more stuff, but instead she had some issues, and unfortunately,
I love Last Dragon.
Oh, it's a great movie. Yeah, that's a fantastic movie.
I don't remember if I've seen
and
that
she
movie
did
or
it
not.
before Never Too Young to Die.
Yes.
Is it just called The Last Dragon?
It's Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
Yeah, yes. It's a great movie.
Show enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it like a great movie and like We Want to Torture Josh great movie, or a great movie like actual great movie?
No, it's a great movie as in...
Fun movie.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Again, Matt says
Super
fun
good
movie.
time.
That does not mean the same thing to all people.
Well, I mean, me and Mike both agree with him that it's a fun movie. And
it's fun as hell.
That is not at all encouraging.
Motion passed.
I've got great taste. I mean, personally, I believe I have great taste in films.
Yeah, so do I.
Your best friend is Matt, so...
Whatever, man. Whatever. It brings into question his tastes, but we live beyond.
Yeah. I mean, I don't question my taste at all.
I'm just joshing with you. It will all be all right.
Ba-dum-boom.
John Anderson in this movie plays Arliss, who's the crotchety old guy that tries to cover up the fact that Drew Stargrove was a spy.
Oh, yeah.
And then ends up just being the boss of the spies. And
right.
I think he infers that he might be...
No, you infer. He implies.
His uncle?
True.
Because he says, your aunt and I will take care of the money or something. So I don't know if that's supposed to be a thing. But his face and voice are really familiar to people because he has, 200, 300 credits from a lot of Westerns and stuff. Mm-hmm. But what I remember him most from is he was Harry on MacGyver.
I knew he looked familiar, and I would definitely know him from that. But
yep,
the original MacGyver.
He's probably one of those actors that was in
the remake of that show. It's not terrible.
It got canceled last week.
Yeah, just like
I have heard decent things about it though.
I watched it. I didn't care for it. I think it's just because the original has just too much of a place in my heart. So
man, I can't believe it got canceled. I liked it.
Yeah,
I can honestly say I never watched any of MacGyver or.
Is he going to finish the season out?
I believe so. I think it's just that this is the last season.
Aww.
But
he also played Abraham Lincoln a few times. I thought maybe he was the guy that played Abraham Lincoln in the opening credits to Police Squad, but I didn't see that anywhere in IMDb. Turns out he played Abraham Lincoln in a movie Alan and I watched a little while back called The Lincoln Conspiracy, which is not a fun movie to watch.
No.
That movie
Not a fun
is
movie?
dreck.
It's one of those bad, like, conspiracy documentary films they released in the 70s all the time.
It's based on a book about the Lincoln assassination that is entirely historically unfounded.
Yes, it's 100% inaccurate.
A book I read a bunch of times when I was a kid and thought, oh man, when this evidence comes out, man, the whole government's coming down.
It's
from 150 years ago.
It's a conspiracy theory that a middle school kid could see through.
Yeah, it's like some guy who looked like John Wilkes Booth. In fact, looked exactly like him, just happened to be there when John Wilkes Booth was shot and let him get away. And he was helped by the government because the government didn't want it's the same kind of thing that the people of the Capitol would have been rambling on about.
Yes, it's ludicrous.
The original Q. But they made a movie of it and it is
Speaking of Q, what about his Asian friend?
So Q from James Bond's what you're getting at, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
See, I segued there.
Yeah,
sure.
It's a pretty good segue, actually.
Japanese Urkel?
Japanese Urkel.
Japanese Urkel.
It was 100% Japanese Urkel, but he was like the gadget guy.
Yeah.
Whose gadgets only worked 50% of the time.
Who also said that his stuff was so dangerous it would blow up the entire dorm they were living in.
Yes.
So he reminds me a little bit of the guy from what's that Molly Ringwald movie?
He's the poor man's Getty Watanabe is what I said.
Yeah.
He's like grown up Data from Goonies, but with worse stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Did Goonies come out before this? Because they may have totally ripped Data off. For this
I don't think so. I think this was probably filmed before Goonies. I don't know. Maybe.
But also the idea that, he's the Asian guy, so he must be good at gadgets and math.
Right.
Yeah, except he's not really good at it. Like they can't even cheat on a test right in the beginning.
Yeah, he's just okay at it.
Also, and here's something that really grinds my gears.
Stargrove
gets his dirt bike exploded by a bomb.
Yes.
And then goes to his roommate and says, "Can I borrow your bike?" And implies he's just not going to ever bring it back.
No, he doesn't. Right. He straight out says, "You're never going to see this again."
Rid of it. Like he just gets rid of it.
Yeah, he just abandons it at the side of the highway.
Yeah. I'm like, wow.
Thanks, pal.
Well, let's also not forget that this is the same roommate who, when a care package came in, he opened it and started eating shit out of it. And then only when John Stamos came asking for it, he said, "Oh yeah, you got a care package here." Or, "Hey, yeah, I just charged that to your credit card." Or, he
charged like a bunch of stuff.
He's pretty shitty roommate too.
But
like he steals his care packages and
so
spends his money. He's like all for one and one for all. Like tries to Three Musketeerium, and I'm like, there's only two of you, so that doesn't really work.
But he does come along for the dangerous adventure to rescue humanity, though.
He's completely into the murder.
Yeah,
loves to blow dudes up.
Yeah, he gets into that really fast.
Nobody is horrified by any.
Well, that's what I said. He's a Sesame Street Power Ranger. I mean, that's what he is.
Yeah. Like the outfit he wears.
Yeah.
Oh my God. When he comes to the house and Stargrove doesn't know who he is and attacks him.
Stargrove.
That is.
That's more like 90s kid and play than it is like 80s.
Oh, you guys are overlooking the best item of clothing he wore. When we first see him, he is wearing a neon green tie, a neon green sequined skinny tie.
Oh my God. I didn't even notice.
It is magnificent. I just can't think of any other way to describe it, as in like my eyes were just immediately drawn to it. And it's like, I know everything I need to know about this character because of that one item of clothing. I don't need to know anything else about him. I already know this guy 100%. And he's the guy that would totally get into like killing people with a flamethrower. You're like 100%.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. This movie also has a very, very permed Robert Englund.
Yes.
Straight out of Planet of Terror.
Planet Terror, yes.
Would have been right about the same time, yeah.
Yeah, would have been right after, right?
So Did you find out, was this before or after the first Nightmare?
Oh, this is definitely after the first Nightmare, which
Yeah.
I don't understand. I think he did Planet of Terror, then Nightmare on Elm Street, and then would have gone into this.
Well,
I don't know. First Nightmare would have been like early
maybe
'80s.
might have been even after he filmed the second Nightmare.
Yeah.
First Nightmare wasn't a big hit at first, was it?
No.
Yeah.
No. And I don't think Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was really that big of a hit either. It was Nightmare 3 that they, New Line made that really made it take off.
So yeah, he was still just a workaday guy,
Nightmare on Elm Street came out '84.
Yeah.
So this is 2 full years after that.
So I don't know if he was just trying to shed that image if he'd done the second one already.
Yeah.
With that perm though. Holy shit. That is definitely trying to not be that character.
It was very mid 80s. It was
because Nightmare on Elm Street 2 came out '85.
Yeah, so that would have been before this.
And then 3 came out '87, so it was the year
this would have
after
been right
this
between
movie.
them. Yeah.
Well,
And
you
then
got to
4 came
wonder.
out '88.
Shooting order is not necessarily,
No, true.
Yeah,
I don't think this sat in the canon. I don't think either of those did either. And they
Probably
shot
not.
rather quick, and I would imagine this one did too. He's not in this movie much,
True.
so I'm sure
No, he was not.
He might have been just big enough to be in on a day rate.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think they definitely shot like Nightmare 2 like pretty quickly after the first one.
Well, I was gonna say he wasn't wisecracking super popular Freddy yet.
No. That
wasn't until 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Which would have been a couple years after, '87, '88. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize how fast they put those. I mean, 5 Nightmare on Elm Street came out. In
Oh, they
5
churned
years.
those things out every year almost.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Every other
84,
year.
85, 87, 88, 89. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Because horror
insane.
movies are cheap to produce,
They're cheap to produce, and
Then,
you do it in a
right.
hurry.
and they
'Cause
make
you wanna
money.
get them out around Halloween.
So Dan Aykroyd's Dragnet movie was 88, right?
Somewhere in there. I think
I
87.
think so.
So did he totally rip off Ragnar's gang for the pagans? Because
Maybe,
their
but they
meeting
don't have the
place
goat legs.
looks exactly the same.
So Dragnet came out '87.
Yeah, it was Dragnet 87, yeah.
Yeah.
But and they're like passing out, have girls going around passing out pills. It's like, oh, this kind of gives me a Dragnet 87.
I will say it's a great idea if you're going to have
I
all
really
kinds of
liked
people
that
just
movie though.
pass around in muffin
Yeah.
tins.
Oh yeah, it's a funny movie.
It gave a city of crime.
Gave
Yeah,
us
one of
Pep Strebeck is what it gave us.
One of the best cosplays I ever saw at a convention was one year at Dragon Con. There were 2 guys dressed like Pep and Friday in their pagan undercover outfits.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And it was great. And they had like this great pagan sign that they was carrying around. And they were doing the
I
goat
don't
dance
know
all
if
the time.
I've actually
They were
watched
awesome.
that movie.
Oh, it's so good.
That's funny as hell.
It is fun to watch.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, it's Aykroyd and Hanks, so I would assume I'd love it because I
They
love
still
both
had-
those.
It's still in the era where Dan Aykroyd still had somebody holding him back a little bit. So it's pretty funny. Because as we've seen, things get Aykroydian when nobody
Yeah.
tells him no, and you get movies like Nothing But Trouble and Dr. Detroit. And
Dr. Detroit's
They're just-
fun.
Dr. Detroit's
it's
all right.
fun, but some of these movies are just so out of control.
It is-
Blues Brothers 2000.
Hey now.
yeah. You're an all-star.
Thank you. But let's not forget Blues Brothers 2000 is a music delivery vehicle.
I understand, but to Dan Aykroyd, it wasn't. And
So
yeah,
another
it's
funny
just-
thing is I have seen Blues Brothers 2000, but I have not seen the original Blues Brothers.
Oh my
They are
god, dude.
very
Wow.
different movies.
That's kind of a crime, I think.
Well, the original Blues Brothers came out 2 years before I was born.
So
Yeah, we
Things
get it. I'm
were
old.
okay
What are
before you were
saying?
born, bud. We weren't living in black and white trees.
I tell people I work with all the time, you are allowed to watch a movie that was made before you were born.
I know that I can. I have watched several movies made before I was born.
Yeah, like
especially
The
on this
Last Shark.
podcast.
The Last Shark, yes.
But I just haven't ever. I mean, it's on Peacock, so I can watch
Maybe
it at some point.
maybe just set your sights a little higher than The Last Shark. Maybe.
That movie was terrible.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. It was it was something.
And I didn't hate Blues Brothers 2000. I didn't think it was great.
I don't hate
but
it either. It's not. If you watch the first movie, it's not a worthy successor.
Yeah.
Well, Jim
Not all
Belushi
things.
isn't
Not all
really a
second
worthy
movies can be
successor.
better than the first. Like
No,
Ace
that's
Ventura, When
true.
Nature
oh
Calls.
god.
Oh. Hey, just so you know, I was able to pull up a review. This one comes from Soren Gerdau, who watched it on the 2nd of January, 2016, who said, "This is so disgusting, it makes me weep. Please, world, don't be like this. Our children deserve so much better."
Is that talking about this movie?
That's talking about Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
There's this thing that I keep doing because I like the second Ace Ventura movie better than the first.
Okay, I can definitely see that being said about this movie as well, though.
Yes, okay, I can see that. Yeah, this is so disgusting, it makes me weep.
I can see this being said about most of the movies that we watched, let's be honest.
I mean, I wasn't in a full-on weep, although I was definitely fighting back some sobs at some points.
Yes,
yeah.
Mostly about vanity.
Yeah.
Yes. Because she's dead now, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Vanity.
Speaking of R.I.P., DMX died today.
Yeah, so did Prince Philip.
Yeah, but Prince Philip was a racist old man, and DMX was awesome, so I'm more concerned
allegedly.
I mean,
allegedly, yeah.
Pretty sure Prince Philip was a racist
old rich white guy.
I mean, we fought a war to get rid of those people like 200 years ago, so I really don't think a whole lot.
Yeah, and the thing is, he was alive half that time ago.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
he was 99 when he passed.
99, yeah. All right. Well, on that note,
yeah, and on that, moving on.
Yeah,
because we never get off topic on this podcast.
I know, but it's a real downer, man. I did take some notes, just a few. I think I got 39 lines of notes out of this movie. Not much. The first 3 words in this movie are "my little turd balls," which is never how you should open a movie, I don't think.
Or maybe it's how you should open every movie. I mean, I don't know. At least a movie with Gene Simmons in drag.
Yeah, I guess. But he's a gang leader, cult leader with deadly fingernails, which is insane. He's like
one deadly fingernail.
Yes, okay, that's true.
I'm not trying to nitpick, but
if you played the drinking game where you drink every time you hear the name Stargrove,
you're drunk now.
You'll be dead in 15 minutes.
You have alcohol poisoning.
It's like playing the AC/DC Thunderstruck drinking game. Every time you hear the word thunder, you got to drink.
Oh, jeez. The theme song to this, I like. It is overplayed with the Stargrove thing, but it's not bad. It's a good theme song.
It's overplayed a little bit.
It's very, very 80s. I do like all the variations, like when they're making passionate love.
The Tender Love theme version is okay.
The Haunting Torgo theme.
Yes.
The Haunting Stargrove theme.
Why is the school dean a dick about Stargrove's dad?
Because school deans in the 80s are dicks about everything.
Because he really wanted to meet him.
Yeah, he was excited.
He's all taken back when Stargrove throws it back at him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty he was pretty snotty to, Japanese Urkel about his parents too, though. I mean, so he's just maybe that way with everybody.
Let's be honest. So,
and we do, of course, have the parallels when the young Lance is doing his gymnastics with a very, very obvious body double.
Right.
Yeah.
And
very obvious.
Is it Drew? Drew's the dad, right? Drew Stargrove, I think.
Yes.
George Lazenby. Yeah. The James Bond known for one of the dumbest lines in James Bond history, where he says, "This never happened to the other guy," just directly to the camera.
Okay. We haven't talked about the fact that George Lazenby is really in this movie at all.
Yeah, he's in this movie. He plays James Bond in this movie, basically, for 6 minutes, 7 minutes
in a Ghostbusters cosplay,
but like a really bad James Bond.
Yeah, well, he's
an American James
in
Bond.
this movie.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, you use what you got to work with. I mean,
yeah, he plays it American, and he just does his thing, gets third billing, and probably
he's
got
like
a bigger
the Pierce Brosnan of
than
James
else.
Bond.
Yeah, George Lazenby made a ton of money off of like bad Hong Kong action movies, and basically got super rich off of them. So he probably made pretty good money off of this film. He probably did one day of shooting and probably got paid a pretty good chunk.
Speaking of Asian action movies, have you guys seen Godzilla vs. Kong yet? Because it's awesome.
Not yet. I'm watching it tomorrow.
I don't have HBO Plus or HBO Go, whatever it's called.
Max.
I don't really care.
Well, you can come over and watch it here when we all get past
really
our.
good.
I'm sure I will take you up on that at some point. I will buy it when it comes out. I just bought Wonder Woman when it came out on Blu-ray. I am honestly kind of actively resisting getting HBO Max, because I give zero shits about fucking Justice League.
Yeah.
But the Snyder Cut of Justice League is actually quite good.
I give zero shits. I don't care if it's good. I do not care. You do not give in to terrorists. And
I don't like Zack Snyder as a director.
Oh, please, let's not get into this. Nobody's going to come out of this feeling good.
But Joss Whedon destroyed that movie.
All right, so Alan, you want to tell Mike how you watched Godzilla vs. King Kong?
Well, some friends and I rented out a movie theater for a private screening last Saturday, and I think that's the only way I'll ever watch a movie in a theater from now on.
that is really awesome.
That's
I
what
would
we
love
need
to
to
do
do,
that.
Mike.
And
Okay.
it's actually not that expensive. It was $15 per person, which is what you're going to pay to go anyway.
Yeah.
Matt, I am down to do this if you want to do this.
Yeah, so we'll work this out. We'll do some details after we're done recording.
Yeah. But it was a super fun experience, and the movie is super duper fun. It's just big, dumb, loud, and fun. And
Oh yeah, I
wanted.
loved it so much.
But let's talk about a movie that wasn't so much fun.
But it was loud and dumb.
It was
definitely loud and
dumb.
dumb. No, during his gymnastics routine, John Stamos falls at the same time his father is murdered.
Dun, dun,
Timing!
dun.
And he looks at the camera like there's a disturbance in the force.
Yep.
And then Gene Simmons is laughing a really bad laugh.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's just
it was
doing-
really cartoon villainy.
It got more cartoony as the movie went along.
I mean, he was full-on mustache-twirling villain.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to like channel his inner Wile E. Coyote.
I think towards the end, definitely there's a certain point where towards the end of the movie, it's like you could tell that he's just like, I'm just going to make this as silly as I can.
But I don't think he was doing it on purpose. Like, he was doing Dr. Evil without trying to intentionally do Dr. Evil.
Oh, I fully feel that Gene Simmons was doing this movie because he thought it was going to launch him. He was just going to overact and be crazy, and people were going to eat it up.
Only one person can overact to be crazy. People eat it up, and that's Nicolas Cage.
That's true. That's true.
And here I thought you were going to say Ace Ventura.
No, Nicolas Cage is the overactor. That's like the running theme here. I love Nicolas Cage. Yeah, the new Nicolas Cage movie I watched, Jiu-Jitsu, not good. You know why? Not enough Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
I need to see that Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland?
Yeah, I heard he's not in that much, though.
Really?
So, which kind of saddens me, because the only thing that makes
this
movie good is Nick Cage.
The last Nick Cage movie I watched was Color Out of Space. And
I really liked that.
It highly enough. It's
the
best Lovecraft adaptation I've seen on film, just about.
But then it came
Have you
out
seen
that the
Lovecraft
director
Country yet, though?
is apparently a rat bastard, and I'm very angry.
Because
What
who
movie
is?
was
Richard
that you
Stanley?
guys were talking about?
Yeah,
Richard Stanley's a rat bastard?
look it up. It's bad.
What was that movie you're talking about? What's it
Color
called?
Out of
Color
Space.
Out of Space.
Color Outer Space?
Color
Color
Out
Out
of Space.
Okay.
All right. Well, my next note is that the pyramid guy, they have a sound effect as Vanity squishes his face into horse shit, which is disgusting and mildly funny.
Who was that guy?
I
wasn't that guy
looked
a
him up a
thug in
long
more
time ago.
movies?
I think he did a little bit of pro wrestling, and he wasn't in much.
He should have been like a thug in every 80s movie.
I mean, at the time, we joked that they drove off the set of Road Warrior, but
yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they actually had, though.
Like, I really
Dang.
expected Mad Max to show up somewhere in this movie.
Well, the two thugs that attacked Stamos in the kitchen totally look like they escaped from a Trauma movie. Like,
Yes.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
They like from Trauma Central casting. These two guys were.
or they were like the rejects from The Lost Boys.
Yeah, second episode in a row we've discussed Trauma. Awesome.
they're one of the other groups of gangs from the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like one of the smaller gangs that there's only like 10 members of.
Are they like the Los Lobos rejects?
You know, I hear those
There
guys.
you go.
Well, we'll kick your balls.
Into outer space.
Yep.
They're the guys that the baseball themed gang from the Warriors beat up on. So they're truly the bottom. They're the bottom feeders for sure.
Also, in that fight with Vanity, there's a fire that ends the fight in the barn because the fire ignites right next to a box conspicuously labeled
Murphy's
grenade.
Law. I mean,
Grenades.
that's how that works.
Hey, I will say this: Vanity handles a rifle pretty good, though.
I'm sure she would. She handled
Hey.
John Stamos' rifle pretty good.
All right, now.
Hey-oh!
This gang drives motorcycles in their club that have horse heads on them.
Yes.
Never seen that before. It's really weird, and I'm not sure it would be very good to drive on the street.
I've got the most badass merry-go-round horse of all.
That scene reminded me of that one wrestling movie we watched with the cage fighting.
Oh yeah. Where they no holds barred.
Yeah.
Dookie.
That one wrestling movie. There's like,
the best wrestling movie.
Like there's more. I want to say something about the club. The cross-dresser guy that waits on John Stamos and Vanity, absolutely the highlight of the movie. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. They are awesome.
Yes.
They are just hilarious and like the best character in that, definitely in that whole scene. Yeah, they were fantastic. Yeah, they were great. I really got that scene, kick out of them.
They're like, "Hey, Gene, we're going to give you a musical number. Why don't you just rock out for us?" And instead he gives like a weird spoken word number, which some of the lyrics showed up in a later Kiss song, apparently.
Yes. I'm going to perform this like William Shatner would.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. It's like his Rocket Man.
Yeah, it's Gene Simmons as William Shatner dressed as Cher. Oh, the dress in that scene. There is video.
Oh, don't destroy this for other people. You already killed it for us.
No. Because I'm going to put the video out on our social media.
Oh no, it's great. I love it.
The same costume was worn in a Kiss special by Linda Carter.
Same costume.
Yeah, same
So
costume.
this movie came out in 1986, which is about the same time Labyrinth came out. Do you think that they got some inspiration from Labyrinth trying to like rip off the Goblin King?
I don't think so.
It
Not
seems
at
like
all.
a stretch.
Yeah.
Especially since Labyrinth was a Henson movie, which means it was in production for a couple of years.
Yeah, for years and in London.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he's got that whole like cheap Goblin King, but really, 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 really bad Goblin King vibe.
He's got the Ragnar vibe.
Yeah, it's the Ranger.
Yeah, Bowie, he's not.
No, he's not a David Bowie. That's for sure.
Next up, I have the movie in this, or the music in this movie really sucks, except for the rock song that plays as we're entering the club. That was a really bitchin' 80s song.
I just found out that Labyrinth lost money.
Oh yeah, lost a ton of money.
That's weird.
All of Henson's movie does. He was not very good at.
That's not entirely true.
Well, okay, the Muppet movies did well. It was the fantasy movies did not.
Yeah, but the fantasy movies were big experimental things, and
They were.
they have made money in the long run.
They have.
Yeah. No, I mean Labyrinth is one of my top films. I mean,
But also remember that Back to the Future has apparently never made money either. So,
Well, that's studio accounting, though.
this is what I'm saying.
Well, the Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, not a ton of people flocked to the theater to see.
They were weird because that was the problem. Dark Crystal is an amazing movie, but there were no people in it. And that was what the studio was afraid of, and that was what turned out. Nobody knew what to expect, and so they didn't see it. Now it's amazing. People understand it for what it was. It found its audience.
Yeah, and the people who loved it then loved it now, and all the other people love it now too. So
yes, except for Netflix apparently, who even though it got rave reviews and like an Emmy nomination, they still canceled it after one season because they're dumb.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing it just cost too much, and
it was only going to run for 3 seasons tops anyway.
Yeah,
then give it the 3 damn seasons.
I wish they had.
I'm sure that their bean counters came up with whatever.
I know. I'm just sad because it was great.
Yeah, the punks in this movie, like they stole all their weapons from a medieval museum exhibit.
Yeah,
they're out there with like pikes and axes and morning stars,
wooden shields.
Yeah.
It had a very post-apocalyptic feel in a non-post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah,
it's like they look like they came right off of like the wall of like a bad.
Would Mad Max have come out before this movie?
Mad Max would have been out before this.
Yeah, long
Mad
before.
Max came out early.
I feel like this movie just tried to steal from like every other major hit.
Maybe, yeah.
Trying to like
This would have come out.
hodgepodge it into one movie, but it didn't work out.
I say,
It's
when
like
did
how we
Warriors
get Josh
come
to
out?
watch movies. You like this movie? You like that movie? You like this thing? They're all here.
That was the pitch.
Yeah.
That was the pitch.
It's like, how would you like Escape from New York, The Warriors, Mad Max, and every other thing? All
With an American
smashed.
James Bond story.
Yeah.
With James Bond, you put John Stamos and Vanity in there. There you go. You got
And the
box office
stereotypical
gold.
Asian character who's supposed to be good at tech.
Yes.
Because that was an 80s thing for real.
Well, yeah, because Japan was very much eclipsing us technology-wise at that point.
And we were very scared of it, so we had to hang a lampshade on it as quick as possible.
And it gave us Michael Keaton movies.
That's right. Hey,
That's-
at least we
love
got
Michael Keaton.
at least we got Batman 89 out of it.
That's true.
Batman 89 was
We also
so
got
good.
Gung Ho, though, and Gung Ho is really good.
I was say Gung Ho is
Yeah.
exactly what I was referencing.
I knew it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, there's the big battle while they're driving with the truck.
Yeah.
And the truck driver apparently never notices there's a
Yeah,
gun battle
no.
going on all around
Right.
and underneath his own truck.
He's going the same speed.
I mean,
He's
I've
not
driven next to
deviating.
trucks before. I totally buy this.
Yeah, but I mean, you weren't like waving like a morning star around and like exploding and stuff right next to him.
Like, how do you not feel a motorcycle going underneath your back wheel?
Yeah, that was actually a pretty gnarly.
Yeah, because he gets shot before that, and the bullet effect is like gross and splattery.
Yeah, that was pretty
And
gnarly.
then he ends up going under the back wheels of the trailer.
Yeah, that was gnarly in the best possible.
This whole
way.
movie was kind of gross and splattery, so I mean,
Oh, I bet with yeah, never mind. I'm not going there.
Thank you.
Yes.
I need to eat some apples.
you need some apples.
I love the way that while he's eating the apples, while he's eating the apples, he's like, "Hey, do your impression of like Wile E. Coyote, like looking at the Roadrunner,
Yeah, just look at me like you're hungry and eating an apple.
like you don't see Vanity there, you see a giant chicken leg. Do
Yeah,
that.
that's exactly what that seems like. Of course, Vanity's character, whose name is Danja or Danja or
Yeah.
Danya,
Depends on who's
depending on who's
pronouncing it
saying
at the time.
in the movie. Yeah, she's trapped in a furnace that has an intercom that goes inside and out, chained up with metal chains that apparently reaches 700 degrees at one point, and she's fine.
She comes out completely unfazed, and they're able to handle the metal shackles
Yeah,
afterwards.
they just grab that metal and just undo
But-
it from her hands.
Okay, the best thing about the furnace is that the temperature gauge just has increments in single digits, and then it says times 100 on there.
Oh, okay,
So it's like,
sure.
because why
Oh, you
would
mean
you
it's
have
not
like
7 degrees?
yeah? Why would you have one that just shows like little increments from 100 up to 200? 1, 120, 140, 1.
It's like a tachometer,
Please.
man. They're trying to be efficient.
I mean, they made it all the way up into the yellow zone.
I know it does get clear up into
Not
the yellow.
the
part.
yellow zone.
I know.
That's right.
I know.
It's like the candy corn meter. It goes from white to yellow and then to full on orange, and then that's when you know you're in trouble.
There is foreshadowing in the sex scene that comes up, where Vanity
There is?
goes to town on John Stamos' nipple.
Uh,
Which this movie features multiple male nipple bites, and that's
Yeah.
pretty rare.
Hey, if
Well,
the director's
is the
director's into
hermaphrodite a
that,
male nipple bite?
Oh, that's true. I don't know. I'm not gonna go there because
Again-
he identified
I
as
wanna
both
get
a
in
man and a
trouble.
woman. So I mean,
we are ultimately 4 white dudes
spoilers.
that are
dude.
straight.
yeah,
Let's not comment
exactly.
on the gender politics of that particular thing at the moment, because they're all fucked up, and we're not gonna have a good take on it.
No, you could not make this movie now.
They shouldn't have made this movie then.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't have made it then. You're exactly right. I think it's not really that offensive just because he's such a cartoon character. You can't take him seriously as a human being at all.
Well,
It's like-
that in
But
and
the
of itself is,
Right. Yeah.
the idea that being both is cartoon villainy.
But I think it's just I think the cartoon villainy is separate from that. I think he might as well be
That's
from
just
another
him.
planet.
yes, you're correct. The problem is there are people that will conflate the two.
Yes, I understand that. And
Intentionally and loudly.
yeah, but
even though they know better.
It's Gene Simmons. They could take it all out on him.
Yeah, I don't think he's trying to be like trans or her at all.
I think he's just trying to be an over-the-top cartoony villain.
Yeah,
regardless.
He's just being.
I do wonder what the thought process was.
Yeah, it does make me wonder just exactly what their angle was on that and how they thought that was going to play. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think back then people really cared that much about how it was going to play because to people back then it wasn't a reality.
Well, that's
a
good point.
Somebody had the idea of, well, let's have his character be this.
Yes.
Right.
And Gene Simmons had to either have that idea or be okay with that idea. And I am curious as to what the thought process was, but also the whole thing is really cringy. And
Yeah, I'm just surprised Gene Simmons was okay with being half woman with how toxic masculinity he is.
I think he thought it was hilarious.
I think he thought that he was doing the greatest acting job in the history of acting.
Yeah. I think he thought that, this is just a way to be completely over the top and crazy.
And I think you may have a solid point, Al. I think he may have really been purposely making fun of Cher.
Maybe.
I think it's. I mean,
I think
it licks his lips an awful lot.
It looks too close to be entirely a coincidence. You know, nothing else. I
wig,
said, I want that wig.
That is
wink,
exactly
wink.
the wig she was wearing mid 80s.
Yeah.
Turn back timeshare.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Telling me that's not Cher's real hair.
I'm sorry to have to be the one to break it to you, Josh.
Do you really think the villain would have been like? His villain would have been less effective if he was just like an absolute nut instead of adding that twist to it.
I think he'd have been fine.
He would have, I mean, because that's really all he acts like anyway, is just someone who's just 100% off the rocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
he has just as much, we were talking before, he has just as much in common with an alien.
Yeah. He is not a person at all. He's just this really
he's a cartoon character. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just this super broad, mustache twirling, like you said, cartoon weirdo, and everything else is, I think,
window dressing.
I don't think it even really matters because everything else is just so wackadoo about the guy.
It doesn't matter, but also it does, because that's still, even though it's window dressing, it's the dressing they chose to put in the window.
Well, and also it's a cheap way to get people to hate. Sad to say, but at the time, it was probably a cheap way to get people to immediately dislike the guy.
Like I said, it wasn't reality for most of the people.
No,
back then they wouldn't have even thought that sort of thing would exist.
I was in high school in '86, and I can guarantee you that was just not something that was ever.
Yeah, you would never talk about
approached or thought about ever, at least around here.
And next note I have. So when they're setting their big trap for Ragnar. Designed by a double agent, of course. There is like a rangerish kind of guy there with Harry from MacGyver, who has sort of a resemblance to a big boned Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, he's Ron-Claude Van Damme.
Yes, I say Al shouted out, "Hey, it's Ron-Claude Van Damme," and I cracked up.
He does bear a striking resemblance.
He does. It's strange and weird, but yeah, that joke killed me. The cult lives in a big Greek amphitheater.
Yeah, or a sewage treatment plant.
Well, I'm not sure. Why does it have stairs like amphitheater seats?
I don't
know. Whatever. Also, Ragnar is super verbally abusive to his own followers.
Yeah.
Well, he did call them turd balls at the beginning of the movie.
Turd balls is the very first thing he calls them. But like he's always bad mouthing them and stuff. And
that's pretty villainy, though. Like talking bad to your people.
I would be, but who would want to be in his weird cult?
In all fairness, they all look like the kind of people that have been abused most of their lives and probably are used to it.
Yeah. Stockholm Syndrome.
They look like they haven't made a lot of good choices up to this point.
And he yells, "Give them placebos."
Yes.
Which I'm not sure if that was supposed to be slang for some kind of drug.
But I'm not sure.
But I am saying if you have a lot of different pills you need to sort to give out to your cult, using muffin tins is a great idea.
It was a good solution. I think they got that off Etsy or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think Etsy was around back then.
It was the forerunner of Etsy. It was at this point, Etsy was just like a hand.
It was
newsletter. It was a hand typed newsletter that went around.
The next note.
It was a zine.
The next note was a really bad car that Ford put out that flopped.
That's what I said that.
Anyhow, the next note I have is about John Stamos being brought into the amphitheater in a cage, being carried.
Yeah.
And they are throwing all kinds of, I'm assuming, rotten vegetables and fruits at him. And Al hollered, "No, don't throw apples at him. It makes him horny."
That was me. I will take
Yes,
credit.
that was beautiful.
He was getting a little bit he was getting that look in his eye there for a second when he got pelted with apples.
Yeah, I'm sure that just made him think about vanity even more. This is Robert Englund after Nightmare on Elm Street. He's really trying to shake Freddy with that perm and the bolo tie. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah.
He's got some
he did have a weird bolo
tie
tie on throughout.
It looked like they forgot to green screen something onto the monitors in their secret little computer cave. He said it. He said the thing.
He said the title of the movie,
and he says, "You're never too young to die."
Yeah.
And
it's hard to shoehorn that
I do
in.
like it when they actually mention the name of the movie in a movie. That's always fun.
I do, and I get that "Never Too Young to Die" is a very Bondy title, and I'm sure they tried to find a way to work it. Dummy effects out of 80s TV. We already talked about that.
Dummy effects.
Blowing up the computer. Oh my god. So to stop this countdown of this whole plot, he throws the computer in the air and the malfunctioning flame gun into the air with it, and they collide. It explodes and stops the countdown for whatever.
Even though they've been thrown like a full second apart, and
even though it shows like valves inside the dam already having been moved.
Yes, exactly. Oh well. Well, I mean,
which
had to have it end.
Brings me to another point about their entire plot. Their entire plot was to empty nuclear waste into the drinking water supply for Los Angeles, right?
Yes.
Why are there valves that can open up for toxic waste to enter the drinking water supply?
That is a good question.
Whoever designed this,
it's Chinatown.
One that the script writers never bothered to ask. Clearly.
But yeah, that was my last note on the movie. Anybody have anything to add?
As usual, you are definitely the most thorough in figuring out things to talk about.
I over-examine when I've seen these movies multiple times. I know. But
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that you are definitely the one who has done the most work.
But yeah, is there anything else I left out? Surely there's something somebody remembers that I didn't.
Nothing I can think of.
No.
Don't call me Shirley.
Pretty much everything that I wanted to mention got mentioned. So,
all right. So if you were going to cast this movie with people that weren't in this movie, who would you put in that's not Nicolas Cage?
And why?
Okay. Well, like who would you put in as Lance Stargrove, as John Stamos? Who could be the young, hip James Bondy character?
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet? Yeah, sure. He's a pretty boy.
I don't know.
I gotta think, man. It's hard to think of somebody who would be the new hot thing who either didn't disappear.
It's because we're old.
That's true.
I mean, are you talking about like throughout any time or just
anytime?
Or
anytime. Could have been back then. Could be now.
I don't know. I don't really want to saddle anyone with this turd. I mean.
Well, I'm just trying to think who could make this movie. Like, who could be a new young James Bond?
New young James Bond. Oh, gee.
I don't think any actor could make this work. I think we're just trying to look to see who could make it better.
I mean, if you wanted to make
anybody could make it better.
Yeah, you would have to completely change, like the villain. I think
the four of us could be the leads in the movie, and it would be better.
I don't know. I would leave Vanity as Vanity.
Well, Vanity's pretty.
She's good at her part.
Pretty hard to top that. She does do a good job. And Gene Simmons isn't necessarily bad. He's just a wacky cartoon.
No, I'm absolutely going to go for Jim Carrey in that part. Jim Carrey talking out his butt,
doing his best Robotnik. So,
hello, my little turd balls.
Yeah,
do you have any banaka?
Okay, who's the kid that's currently in? Who's the young guy that plays Spider-Man now?
Tom Holland.
Okay, Tom Holland. Yes, that would be great.
He could be a young spy and pull that off, I think.
And he wouldn't need a body double for the gymnastics.
Yeah.
And like he can eat apples.
He can eat apples with the best of them. No, I think he could make it. Well, not maybe this one, but any.
He'd be eating those apples going, I don't feel so good.
He could make it work, I think. He kind of did the spy thing in, Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home. It's
kind of,
the European,
Hell, let's just turn this from a James Bond ripoff to a superhero movie.
Sure.
He could be little Spidey.
And Stargrove could be like a superhero. It's like his name, Stargrove.
And we're back. We have no idea what just happened or how long we talked without it recording, but here we are. We're back.
It could have been hours.
Back, and this time it's personal.
Because the damn recording cut.
But I will say, the end of that fantasy casting that we talked about blew my mind, and we can never recreate it. So you guys will just have to understand it was the greatest damn thing. We're going to make this
is not the greatest song I've written. It's just a tribute.
Yeah, just a tribute. That's right. All right. So all that we really have left to talk about this movie is what we would rate it. Does anybody want to go first this week? Usually I just
think Al should go first. He's our guest.
Al should go first. Okay, that works.
Okay.
Out of 10.
Out of 10. Like I said, the first time I saw this, I really did not like it. I will give it a solid 6.
Oh, wow.
That is high praise.
Again,
Al's been drinking.
Yeah.
I haven't been drinking that much. No, there's something about, it's a movie that you can watch it with friends, like Josh said, and it's more fun.
Maybe the ratings were just the friends we met along the way.
Maybe
the real Stargrove is the friends
Stargrove.
Maybe the real wackadoo Gene Simmons are the friends we met along the way.
Oh, please,
something like that.
No, I give it a 6. I give it a 6.5.
Ooh, going even higher.
It's 0.5. Let's not get crazy here.
So for me, I'd probably get like a 4.
A 4? That's high praise from you.
I know. Like, it's fun to watch. I'd show friends it. Like, I don't. But I mean, if I'm comparing it to other theatrical releases that I love, I don't think it's great. But it's fun
it's
enough.
Not even on the same level. This is like the NBA versus a kindergarten basketball team.
Basically.
Yeah, you can't compare the two.
Right. I should have been rating these based on, but that would be hard to do. Like at one point, I'll go back and like rate all the movies comparison to all the movies we've watched.
Yeah, we're going to have a whole episode
ones.
about that, I think.
Yeah.
We'll go back and sort of review, maybe once we hit episode 30, because I think we're going to take a break after 30.
Oh.
We'll all be vaccinated and ready to hit the road. Spend time together.
We could take the show on the road.
We could do it live. I'm not going to do that this year, but I'd love to do this.
Do a live remote.
Yeah. All right, Mike, what would you give this movie out of 10?
I can't believe this is about to happen, but I'm going to give it a 3.
A 3?
I gave it less than Josh.
Yeah, that's wild.
There are some really, really cringy elements to this that I just am not.
I'm starting to feel like maybe I was a little.
I thought about that too, but then I remember the time period, and so I rate it with the time period.
I get that.
If this movie came out today, it would get like a 0.2 to me.
I get that, but I don't want to encourage it. So
I understand.
I don't think you need to worry about encouraging anybody to remake.
Fair.
Movie.
Yeah, I don't think any of these people are going to be encouraged.
All right. Well, I'm just going to say, out of all the movies I have for this podcast, this and Miami Connection were the two that originally hit me as just the best bad movies I'd ever seen. So I am going to give this a 7. I really, really, really enjoy this movie. It's got its problematic parts and everything, but gosh darn it, it's just so hopefully hopeless. It's unlovably lovable. It's just something so crazy.
It's the Josh of movies.
It does never work. No, I'm not going to say that. No, this is like if they came up with the movie and then told like a 7th grade drama club to do it. It's just so.
You literally just described my personality.
Everything about this movie is.
You may be selling the 7th graders short. I don't know.
Damn it, I love it. All right, well, that wraps up the rating. Still, nobody has Ghost Fever except Josh. And Josh, next time I see you, I'll give it to you if somebody else hasn't tweeted Ghost Fever.
Last I saw that movie.
Nobody wants that game.
I'll take the game, but I do not want the movie.
The game. No, I'm not giving up that movie. That movie's mine. But that game is abysmal. So
yeah.
The sooner it's out of here, the better. All right, and that about wraps it up.
I've missed all of you. I can't wait till we can hang out in person and play board games.
Soon, very soon.
I'm so excited.
I would just like to say thanks for letting me come on. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But it was a lot of fun having you, Al.
Thanks.
Yeah. And that about wraps it up for me. Anybody have anything to add before we go?
Nope.
All right, man. Love you, Josh.
As always, I love you, Matt.
Just remember, you're never too young to die.
Oh, he said the thing.
Yay, the thing.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
This episode of You're Gonna Love This or Not was recorded using Zencaster because we're still surrounded by rat lickers. It features Matt dragging Josh down into the dark depths of his movie collection and is released monthly on the Team Geeking family of podcasts. It is produced by Mike Wycliffe, edited by Liz Shunn, and features music by Scott Holmes, who can be found on the Free Music Archive. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or the podcatcher of your choice, and please leave us a rating and review. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.